More than a dozen counties in Florida are ordering people to evacuate as Hurricane Milton approaches.
The National Weather Service says the storm will bring at least a 10-foot storm surge.
We were going to stay, but I don't want to take the chance.
A steady stream of traffic moving inland brought highways to a crawl, while some areas already look like a ghost town after Helene hit nearly 2 weeks ago. It's a race against time now to clear the piles of debris left behind by Helene, with the governor ordering landfills to stay open overnight. Fort Myers businesses are boarding up and sandbags piled in preparation for the storm. Still, some people say they're going to stick it out.
I'm in high-rise downtown, so I feel pretty comfortable where I'm at. I got plenty of food and supplies.
Well, hundreds of flights have been canceled to and from Florida, according to FlightAware. Both Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando theme parks announced they'll close early today and stay closed tomorrow.
Now, in case you see evacuees with no place to go, here are some places you can point them to here in central Georgia. GEMA opened up a shelter at Maynard Baptist Church in Monroe County.
In Bibb County, the Dolores, Brooks, and South Bibb Rec Centers, respectively, are open for evacuees. In Warner Robins, the American Red Cross opened up a shelter at Central Georgia Technical College. And Rigby's Entertainment Complex is providing dry camping free of charge. That's at Rigby's Waterworld parking area for RVs and tents. And for emergency supplies, the Robbins and Bonaire pharmacies are now offering an emergency supply of essential medications to evacuees at no cost. They want to remind people, though, they're unable to provide controlled substances or brand name medications. For Floridians who don't have a safe place for their pets, the Bibb Sheriff's Office Animal Shelter has an emergency pet shelter open right now at 4214 Fulton Mill Road. They're accepting donations of both dog food and human food, and they will be staffed 24/7. Now, Georgia may be the peach state, but South Carolina actually beats us for peach production. And in the wake of Helene, their peaches took a big hit. Well, Rachel Ripp is showing us a farm trying to make up for the losses after the storm.
Titan Farms is in Saluda County. COO Ross Williams says this farm is the largest producer of bell peppers, eggplants, and broccoli in the state. And they pick, pack, and ship 2 million boxes of peaches annually. After Helene, those numbers likely won't be the same.
Every single plant was laid completely flat down on the plastic. It's indescribable. What we woke up to when daylight came Friday morning.
Their 6,500 acres of peach trees and 1,000 acres of vegetables were uprooted, wind-torn, and scorched by the sun.
So this is what we refer to as sun scald. This makes the pepper completely unmarketable and unsellable.
Williams says it'll likely be over $1 million impact to the farm.
I finally took a minute, I would say Thursday night, and it was really emotional. Knowing what our communities have been through, and knowing what our farm had been through, but how we came together and developed a plan to get through this together.
Titan Farms saw its community hurting, so they've given away nearly 6,000 pounds of produce in the past few days and intend to give away more. Some of what was salvageable from the farm, but a majority from a partner farm in Florida. Clemson Extension Specialist of Agribusiness, Dr. Adam Kantrovich, says help is on the way.
Our Clemson regulatory division, as well as Cooperative Extension, is going to be working with FEMA to develop some farm resource centers.
Now, looking at the impacts here in Georgia, farmers are also working to recover from Helene. The storm wiped out hundreds of pecan trees where they were close to harvest. They're usually the first to blow over when a big storm hits, and they take 15 years to produce. State Ag Commissioner Tyler Harper says farmers east of I-75 see the worst, with damage to row crops like cotton and soybeans. The state is in the damage assessment process, but they say it will not be a quick process.
Well, our continuous coverage of Helene's aftermath includes its effects on schools. Several central Georgia districts shut down for a week or even more. Morning reporter Freha Barr has some updates on where classes are starting up again. Freha?
Several districts returned to class this week, and some are going back to school today. Lawrence County students actually returned last Thursday, and on Monday, classes were back in session in Wheeler and Hancock County schools. Washington County planned to restart on Monday, but they had to hold off for a day because of potential road hazards and power outages. Now, today, Telfair, Truitland, and Johnson County schools expect to return. Now, when that happens, that means we're back to business as usual. Now, most Central Georgia schools weathered the storm and stood strong, but there were some minor damage to some school facilities, particularly in Telfair and Johnson counties.
You know, there's a few minor damage to a few buildings, but nothing as far as the infrastructure of the actual school building where the students would be getting instruction at.
Now, that was Christopher Watkins, the Johnson County Superintendent. We're wishing the best of luck to all the students, teachers, and staff returning to school after Helene.
Absolutely. Thank you, Freehat. If you want to help people who are still recovering from Helene, you can go to 13WMAZ.com for a list of organizations who are raising money in those hardest hit counties.